and good morning from the nation's capital. Prime News 1 on Prime 105.5. Today is Wednesday, the 21st of December, the year 2023. My name is Barclay Conley presenting. Coming up in the news this morning, Liberia's permanent representative to the United Nations rejects President George Weah's claims that Liberia's diplomats at the UN unilaterally voted the country's position on Israel-Hamas conflict. Ambassador Sarah Fanian calls for immediate review and clarification of social sections. Liberian clergyman urges sanction Mayor Jefferson Koji and defeated Gray to abandon their planned protest on Inauguration Day. Reverend Jala McKay calls on the CDC officials to redirect their energies to the establishment of war and economic crimes court in Liberia.
In terms of a Carlos Gray, and as an influential mayor of the city of Monrovia, I appeal to them that the best gift they can give to the Republic of Liberia is to proffer, without delay, the passage of the War and Economic Crimes Code, rather than demonstrating.
Also coming up,
it has nothing to do with the sanctions of officials from the administration. Neither is an issue between Liberia and the United States. This bothers on our strategic foreign policy objective, which is to ensure world peace and harmony. And President Weah has been, a big champion of work.
Minister of Information, Culture, Affairs and Tourism, Julius Leger-Ireni, clarifies that Liberia's decision to rescind its vote at the United Nations is in no way a retaliation to the alarming U.S. sanctions on corrupt officials. Says Liberia is concerned about the escalating humanitarian consequences in the war-torn region. And of the home front, residents of Guinea's capital, Conakry, are facing rising fuel prices after a fatal explosion in the West African nation's main oil depot. And voting in the Democratic Republic of Congo's high-stakes presidential election has been marred by lengthy delays at polling stations. The news bulletin, voices of Archer newsmakers, our foreign development or package in this Thursday edition of Prime News. We'll take a break. We'll come back, read you the full bulletin of news.
Your news at your doorstep. Prime News Run. Your news at your doorstep. Prime News Run. Your news at your doorstep. Prime News Run. Your news at your doorstep. Prime News Run.
Liberia's ambassador and permanent representative to the United Nations, Sarah Fanian, has rejected claims that Liberia's diplomats at the United Nations acted independently while calling for immediate review and clarification of misrepresentation as alleged. In a dispatch from New York, Ambassador Fanian said the Liberian diplomat at the UN operate under the guidance and instruction of the Minister of Foreign Affairs to ensure that their actions aligned with the country's stance. Ambassador Fanian may think that decisions are not made independently. Instead, guidance is sought to accurately represent Liberia's interests. According to Ambassador Fanian, the Liberian government initial vote on the UN resolution on December 12 was based on a prior directive from the Foreign Ministry which contradicted President Weah and his government's established stance. She indicated that the discrepancy raises concern about misrepresentation, prompting a need for the President to seek clarification from Foreign Minister D. Maswa Kimiyat, who failed to adhere to President Weah's instructions issued since November 4 before Liberia's vote through the UN. According to her, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs needed to advise the President on how decisions are made when it comes to a resolution at the United Nations General Assembly. The Liberian ambassador to the UN stressed that the responsibility for the inaccurate directive lies within the power or purview of the Foreign Ministry, indicating that it is crucial not to tarnish the reputation of Liberia's diplomats at the UN despite challenges. They continue to make sacrifices for Liberia's visibility and contribution to the United Nations mandate. A Liberian clergyman, Reverend Jalamaki, is calling on outgoing Masuara County District 8 Representative Moses Akarasgui and Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Koji to abort any plan of staging demonstration during the inauguration of personally elect Joseph Boakai. Recently, Representative Akarasgui and sanctioned Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Koji threatened to assemble in an undisclosed location on the inauguration day of personally elect Boakai on Monday, January 22nd, 2024. Speaking to Prime FM Wednesday, Reverend Jala McKay cautioned Representative Gray and Mayor Koji to use their energies and resources to lobby for the passage of a new law establishing war and economic crimes court in the country. Reverend McKay maintained that the CDC government officials can use such advocacy as an opportunity to leave a legacy for generations born to follow. Information Minister Lejo Renin has clarified that rescinding the negative vote by Liberia at the United Nations General Assembly is in no way serving as a retaliation to the U.S. government recent sanction imposed on some outgoing officials of the U.S. administration. On Sunday, President George Weah ordered the rescinding of the negative vote that was cast by Liberia on December 12, 2023, rejecting a UN General Assembly resolution calling for a ceasefire in the Israel-Gaza war. But observers believe that the revocation of the vote may not be possible on grounds that once any country has cast its ballot, it is considered final for that session of the UN General Assembly. Speaking in an interview with VOA Daybreak Africa, Minister Renin said while Asia has the right to defend itself, Liberia has also been concerned about the humanitarian consequences of the escalating conflict between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza. Outgoing Monserrato Electoral District 8 Representative Akaras Gray has justified the Coalition for Democratic Change plan protest during the inauguration of personally elect Joseph Boakai. Speaking to reporters in Monrovia Wednesday, Representative Gray said it is not a crime to protest peacefully during the inauguration of the president. According to Representative Gray, they will rally thousands of protesters to peacefully assemble in exercising their constitutional rights to demand for the establishment of war and economic crimes court. The outgoing Monserrato lawmaker noted that he is confident in pressuring the incoming Boakai Koun administration to fulfill its campaign promises to combat bad governance and prosecute warlords, among others. According to him, personally led Joseph Boakai endorsed protest action during the first 6 months of the CDC government. As such, he sees no need for the incoming Unity Party administration to fear what they term as peaceful protests. The concerned staffers of the House of Representatives have debunked a joint statement recently issued by Charles Brown endorsing Bond County Representative Muhammad Briggs Mensah as the Deputy Speaker candidate for the House of Representatives in the pending Speakership and Deputy Speakership elections. The group called on Charles Brown and followers to focus on using the needed leadership at the Liberian Senate that were aligned with the House of Representatives in highlighting issues confronting staffs at the legislature. Reading the statement on behalf of the concerned staffers, the group acting chairman Oliver Barr said Nima County Electoral District No. 5 Representative Samuel Koka is the preferred choice for the position, while calling on members of the House of Representatives to elect the Nima County lawmaker on January 15 next year. The group to this critical stance and advocacy for the well-being of the staffs of the legislature over the years. According to Chairman Oliver Barr, Representative Koka has shown an excellent preference on the legislative floor due to his critical stance on national issues in the interests of the Liberian state and its people. They are pleading for their bosses to do them justice by voting Representative Koga as Deputy Speaker for the smooth working of the House of Representatives. Barr said if elected as Deputy Speaker, Representative Koga will seek the welfare of staffers. Receiving the statement, the Chief of Staff in the office of Representative Samuel Koga Siliki Talawale lauded the group for the endorsement and promise to deliver same to his boss who is currently out of the country. According to him, those staffers at the legislature do not have voting rights but can influence the voting process. As such, he hopes that members of the House of Representatives will listen to the call made by the legislative staffers in electing Representative Kuka as the next Deputy Speaker. The Management Information System Division and the Liberia Revenue Authority has paid tribute and honored two eminent figures within the tax authority for their exceptional contributions in high-quality leadership. The Deputy Commissioner General for Technical Affairs, Gabriel Montgomery, who is the current Acting Commissioner General, and Deputy Commissioner General for Administrative Affairs, Samuel Bennett, received the accolade during the LRA's year-end gathering recognizing their impactful leadership. The event, which was held at the LRA headquarters in Painesville, witnessed Assistant Commissioner of the Management Information System Division, Colizeze, lauded the two senior LRA officials for being instrumental in enhancing the department's efficiency and the professional advancement of long-serving staff members. Assistant Commissioner Zeze highlighted and acknowledged the dedication and commitment exhibited by 18 MRS division staffs who were promoted to various levels based on their outstanding performances and collective efforts in driving revenue growth through the implementation of digitalization strategies. He meanwhile noted that since assuming their roles as Deputy Commissioner Generals in December 2022, Montgomery and Bennett, along with the executive management team, have consistently endeavored to revolutionize the LRA across all spheres. A pro-youth organization group, Youth United for Progress and Action, UPA, has hailed the over 40 incoming lawmakers of the 55th legislature who have publicly endorsed the candidature of Deputy House Speaker Councillor Fonati Kofa in his bid for the speakership of the House of Representatives for the next 6 years. In a press statement issued Tuesday and signed by its chairman, Dama Walker, and approved by board chairman Bobby Dixon, UPA notes that the decision of the over 40 incoming lawmakers of the House of Representatives is a clear indication that they have been following the remarkable legislative works of Deputy Speaker Kofa, a distinct public servant. The youth group says by publicly endorsing Councillor Kofa's candidature for the speakership position at the House of Representatives of the incoming 55th legislature sends a message that they have listened to their various constituents who have been championing and calling on lawmakers of the 55th legislature to elect one of Liberia's profound jurists and legislators who has not only sought the political interests of his kinsmen in Grand Crew County but the entire country. UPAD further that Deputy Speaker Kofa, who as a lawmaker always academically empowers the youth of Grand Crew and Liberia on personally, will be the right leader of the incoming 55th legislature. The group says if Councillor Kofa is elected, he will lobby his colleagues to allot significant budgetary allowance for the improvement of the educational sector in Liberia to the benefit of the youth of the country. Meanwhile, UPA reiterates its calls to other incoming lawmakers, be it partisans or independents, to elect Deputy Speaker Councillor Fonati Kofa as the next Speaker of the House of Representatives of the incoming 55th legislature. A women-led advocacy organization has expressed frustration about the country's judicial system on grounds that it undermines the quest for justice of women and girls affected because of sexual and gender-based violence, including female genital mutilations. Sister Hen, Executive Director of Miata Gray, disclosed that victims of domestic abuse, sexual and gender-based violence, among others, struggle to receive justice due to what she termed as overcrowdedness of the court docket. Speaking in an interview with BBC Africa Daily, Madam Gray recounted that her sister died as a result of female genital mutilations. trained staffs at the court have been replaced, resulting to serious difficulties at the court. According to Madam Gray, most of the county attorneys and gender coordinators lack vehicles, as police officers often demand transportation to pursue aspects or suspects of crimes because they lack logistics. She frowned against a reported one-stop center for rape cases in Monrovia and very few in other counties. Any foreign development residents of Guinea's capital, Conakry, are facing rising fuel prices after a fatal explosion in the West African nation's main oil depot. The blast rocked the downtown Kowloon district on Monday, killing at least 18 people, injuring more than 200 and displacing dozens. Several buildings were also damaged. In the wake of the explosion, authorities did close petrol stations, disrupting fuel supplies across the country. Officials say 13 fuel storage tanks in the capital are out of service, while 5 tanks remain unaffected. This has resulted in a black market price of petrol dropping to at least $3.50 per liter from the usual price of $1.40. For Guineans, this means filling up cars and paying for public transport has become an expensive endeavor. Authorities warned Guineans to brace for power cuts while they investigate the cause of the devastating blast. And voting in the Democratic Republic of Congo's high-stakes presidential election has been marred by lengthy delays at polling stations. Long queues were seen at many polling stations in the capital, Kinshasa, and other cities as they opened about 2 hours late. Ballot papers were delivered at the last minute. Election officials said voting will be extended into Thursday in some areas. President File Tshisekedi is pitted against 18 candidates. Some 44 million people are eligible to cast their ballots in Wednesday's election, following a campaign dominated by worsening insecurity in the mineral-rich East. DR Congo is roughly 4 times the size of France, but lacks basic infrastructure. Even some of its main cities are not linked by road. The news bulletin and foreign development will go for a very short break. We'll come out, we'll bring you voices of Aja newsmakers.
Your news at your doorstep. Prime News Run. Your news at your doorstep. Prime News Run. Your news at your doorstep. Prime News Run. Your news at your doorstep. Prime News Run.
Indeed, many thanks for rejoining us on the program. Let's then bring you voices of Aja newsmakers. A Liberian clergyman, Reverend Jala McKay, is calling on outgoing Mosurado County District 8 Representative Moses Akaras Gray and Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Koji to abort any plan of staging demonstration during the inauguration of President-elect Joseph Boakai. Recently, Representative Akaras Gray and sanctioned Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Koji is threatening to assemble in an undisclosed location on the inauguration date of President-elect Joseph Boakai Monday, January 22, 2024. Speaking to Prime FM Wednesday, Reverend Jala McKay cautioned Representative Gray and Mayor Koji to use their energies and resources to lobby for the passage of a law establishing war and economic crimes court in Liberia.
As lawmaker in terms of Akaras Gray, and as an influential mayor of the city of Monrovia, I appeal to them that the best gift they can give to the Republic of Liberia is to proffer, without delay, the passage of the War and Economic Crimes Code. Rather than demonstrating, they can put the demonstration in a proper legal framework in terms of the passage of a legislation, in terms of the passage of a law that His Excellency President Joy Weah can sign, so that they give this gift to the Liberian people as a testimony of their belief in the rule of law, economic justice, and I believe that this is the best way to go, rather than demonstrating. The way to demonstrate, Akaras Gray, somebody I respect, should begin now trying to do a 4G passage of the law in the legislature, establishing war and economic crimes code. That would be the best demonstration these two partisans can do, and it would be a positive legacy they will give the Liberian people as a testimony of their belief in the socio-economic qualitative lifestyle of the people of Liberia. So such a war crimes and economic crimes code given to us, people of Liberia, as a gift from Accra's Grey, rather than going to demonstrate, from influential youthful or city mayor Jefferson Koji, will place them in the positive history of this country as two giants who did not only talk the talk in terms of war crimes, but they walked the walk in terms of ensuring that they passed it into law before President Weah left power. And blessings will follow them.
He is a Liberian clergyman, Reverend Jala Maki. They're calling on Representative Accra's Grey and Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Koji to redirect their energy to the establishment of a war and economic crimes court. Information Minister Julius Ledger Renning has clarified that rescinding the negative vote by Liberia at the United Nations General Assembly is in no way to serve as a retaliation to the U.S. government recent sanctions imposed on some outgoing officials of the Weah's administration. Sunday, President George Weah ordered the rescinding of the negative vote that was cast by Liberia on December 12, 2023, rejecting a UN General Assembly resolution calling for a ceasefire in the Israel-Gaza war. Speaking in an interview with VOA Daybreak Africa James Botti, Minister Renning said while Israel has the right to defend itself, Liberia also has been concerned about the humanitarian consequences of the escalating conflict between Israel and Hamas in Gaza.
It has nothing to do with the sanctions of officials from the administration. Neither is an issue between Liberia and the United States. This bothers on our strategic foreign policy objective, which is to ensure world peace and harmony. And President Weah has been, a big champion of world peace and harmony, talking about it wherever he had the opportunity, whether at the regional level, whether at the continental level, or whether at the United Nations General Assembly, where he recently again pledged Liberia's support to world peace. And so it has nothing to do with relations, bilateral relations between the United States and Liberia. Liberia is canceling its initial vote of December 12 simply because the chief architect of Liberia's foreign policy, the president of the republic, Dr. George Manuel Weah, has been championing peace across the globe, whether in our sub-region or the continental level, or whether at the international level. And so when the voters showed that Liberia had voted against the ceasefire, he was surprised that it didn't take into consideration the foreign policy objectives of our country, which is to ensure peace in the world.
Is this normal for your diplomats to cast votes at the UN without first consulting with their home government?
Usually, the procedure is that they do consult at their level, especially when the vote is not of much significance. But such a vote that talks about ceasefire in Gaza and giving all of the international ramifications, it was expected that they should have done some consultations at the level of the architecture of the foreign policy decision-making body of our country, which they didn't do, and hence they voted the way they did at the first time. So the president thought it was important for Liberia to correct that vote, giving our foreign policy objectives.
Was that initial vote of Liberia against the ceasefire resolution intended to side with the United States then?
The initial vote that Liberia voted on the 12th of December did go in favor of the United States, siding with the United States in terms of vetoing the ceasefire. There were a few countries, Liberia was among, I think, 8 countries across the world that gave its vote in favor of the veto of the United States. But that didn't go down well with the administration of President Weah, simply because it is not within the foreign policy objective for our country, which is to ensure world peace and harmony.
He is Minister of Information, Culture, Affairs and Tourism, Julius Renning, there speaking to James Botti of Daybreak Africa. Outgoing Monserrato County District Number 8 Representative Carlos Gray has justified the Coalition for Democratic Change planned protest during the inauguration of President-elect Joseph Boakai. Speaking to reporters in Monrovia Wednesday, Representative Gray said it is not a crime to protest peacefully during the inauguration of the president. According to Representative Gray, they will rally thousands of protesters to peacefully assemble in exercising their constitutional rights to demand for the establishment of World and Economic Crime Squad.
There is no crime to protest and peacefully assemble. Nobody wants to disrupt any inauguration in this country. But do we have intention to peacefully protest and assemble? Yes. Why? Even Joseph Boakai endorsed a protest action in the first 6 months in this government. You journalists have the public record. So why should Unity Party of Joseph Boakai be afraid of a protest action that will be very organized, that will be peaceful, to tell the world, for example, that we need war crimes code for Liberia, the culture of impunity should stop in this country. So we amass tens of thousands of people across the country, and we're speaking to them. And those under my revolutionary voice across the country should join in. Okay, we're not going to decide that we'll go to the executive mansion and assemble peacefully in front of the executive mansion. Okay, and make clear to the world the deliberation to be at the Capitol, maybe the inauguration. Okay, we can petition our lawmaker under the Constitution of Liberia. Okay, for that. So there's no problem about peaceful assembly. And
He is outgoing District 8 Representative Moses Carlos Gray there justifying the recent the January 2022 Inauguration Day protests. A women-led advocacy organization has expressed frustration about the country's judicial system on grounds that it undermines the quest for justice of women and girls affected because of sexual gender-based violence, including female genital mutilation. Sister Hen, Executive Director Miata Gray, disclosed that victims of domestic abuse, sexual and gender-based violence, among others, struggle to receive justice due to what she termed as overcrowdedness of the court docket. Speaking in an interview with BBC Africa Daily, Madam Gray recounted that her sister died as a result of female genital mutilations, while disclosing that majority trained staffs at the court have been replaced, resulting to serious difficulties at the court.
The one-stop center and safe home. Those are the things that need to be start from, because the survivor needs to be somewhere and not anywhere close to the perpetrator or where the incident took place or where she has been abused and violated. Number two is the court. I mean, you get to the court, at the end of the day, you come home in tears because you're not finding your way. They say the guy criminal code E that's supposed to deal with sexual-based violent cases, and you have thousands of cases, and you got one judge. So every day you go to the court, they say, go come back tomorrow. Oh, the case going to be here tomorrow. Oh, yeah, we're gonna be this tomorrow. The family just get tired because they have to transfer themselves every day. Their child has been violated to a so-called police station, but you get the police, and I don't think they even some of them know how to handle. And this thing was set up from 2005. It was not perfect, but it was working. So how can all these things break down? Because when the government took over, most of the people that the United Nations had trained over 10 years, they got rid of everybody. And they brought in people that don't actually know how to handle when it comes to survivor, it comes to victim, how to handle the cases. When the justice system is fixed, the rest are infertile. Then for justice system, the medical facility, these one-stop center that was so effective that everything broke down. We have 15 counties. You have 15 gender coordinator. And these gender coordinators have no vehicle. Half of them have no vehicle. How will they go on these cases? In some cases, but it needs a lot of awareness. We can't do it with emotion. We can't be accusing and also inviting. I have so many men on my team that their children were violated, and they work and they walk. And up to today, they stay asking for justice for their children. So whether we know the men are the perpetrator, but we need for them to understand that, because most of the people don't know marry your daughter out as 14 is wrong. But over the years, the awareness has created some level of information on that. So you find men that totally understand and they report it. It's not in high number, but we find it coordination from the men. Young men that grew up in the home, they saw their father abusing their mother. Everything they saw is abuse. So they think that's the way of life. When you have a girl or you have a wife, you have to beat them. So my institution, we take it to that level at school. We go to school, we go to community, invite young men from the age of 12, 13, 14. We talk to them to be part of the process.
She is Madam Miata Gray, the Executive Director of Sister Hen, there in conversation with BBC Africa Daily. Well, if you're just joining us, it's a reminder that you're listening to Prime News, 145 minutes of major happenings in Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our world. And top stories on the program this morning: Liberia's permanent representative to the United Nations rejects President Weah's claims that Liberia's diplomats at the UN unilaterally voted the country's position on Israel-Hamas conflict. Ambassador Sarah Fania calls for immediate review and clarification of such sections. Liberian clergymen urges sanctioned Mayor Jefferson Koji and defeated Representative Akaros Gray to abandon their planned protest on Inauguration Day. Reverend Jala Mackey calls on the CDC officials to redirect their energies to the establishment of World and Economic Crime Squad. Information Minister Julius Leger-Renin clarifies that Liberia's decision to rescind its vote at the United Nations is in no way retaliation to the alarming U.S. sanctions on corrupt officials. Says Liberia is concerned about the escalating humanitarian consequences in the War II region. And of the home front, residents of Guinea's capital Conakry are facing rising fuel prices after a fatal explosion in the West African nation main oil depot. And voting in the Democratic Republic of Congo's high-stock presidential election has been marred by lengthy delays at polling stations. We take a very short break. We'll come out, bring you more developments on the program.
Bringing the news to your know with professionalism. This is your first step to hearing the news. This is the last step to knowing your news.
Well, let's bring you this development. The concerned staffers of the House of Representatives have debunked a joint statement recently issued by Charles Brandt endorsing Bond County Representative Muhammad Briggs Mensah as a Deputy Speaker candidate for the House of Representatives in the pending Speakership and Deputy Speaker elections. The group called on Charles Brown and followers to focus on producing the needed leadership at the Liberian Senate that will align with the House of Representatives in highlighting issues confronting staffs at the legislature. Reading the statement on behalf of the concerned staffers, the group acting chairman Oliver Barr said Nima County Electoral District Number 5 Representative Samuel Koga is the preferred choice for the position, while calling on members of the House of Representatives to elect the Nima County lawmaker on January 15 next year. The group stressed that the action to endorse Representative Koga is based on his critical stance and advocacy for the well-being of the staffs of the legislature over the years.
The above supra-mentioned organization has been concerned information as well as leaflets circulating in the corridor of the Liberian Senate with claims and or rebuttal of a so-called endorsement of a candidate in the pending leadership elections of the Honorable House of Representatives of the Republic of Liberia. What baffles us most as conscious-minded staffers is the mere fact that Mr. Charles Brown, who's supposed to be the chairman of the Senate Staffers Association, thus making him the lead advocate for staff well-being as well as welfare, does not even know the character that he received political leading to endorse. Let us remind Mr. Brown and his cohort that we as professional staffers of the House have the requisite training and practical understanding of representational or advocacy politicking. And as such, we are able to vet our bosses and derive as to which one of them has the history, the tenacity, and the span to stand tall for the welfare and the well-being of staff when so required. We would like to encourage Mr. Brown and followers to focus on producing the needed leadership in the Liberian Senate that will align with the likes of the incoming Deputy Speaker in highlighting the too many issues confronting staffs at the National Legislature. Now, therefore, having had extensive consultation among and between majority members of the House of Representatives staffs, we are pleased to reveal that it is the name of Honorable Samuel Kungbe Koga who is provingly a clear choice of the staffs based on the fact that over the years his stance and advocacy for the well-being of the staff has been emotionally overwhelming. It is therefore our passionate plea to our bosses, both routine and incoming members of the House of Representatives, to do justice to our conscience by voting the men whose record of advocacies for dignifying the legislature and its staff and such history is tangible and measurable. The ascendancy of Honorable Koga to the position of Deputy Speaker will surely enhance the well-being and welfare of staff as required by dignified civil servant standards. It is with renewed expectations that as you conclude your block consultations and fast approaching the election period, it will be fascinating and heartwarming to we staff for you to elect one of your erudite colleagues in person of District Number 5, Niba County Representative Honorable Samuel Kungbe Koga as the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Receiving the statement, the Chief of Staff in the Office of Representative Samuel Koga Siliki Talawale lauded the group for the endorsement and promise to deliver same to his boss who is currently out of the country. According to him, those staffers at the legislature do not have voting rights, but they can influence the voting process. As such, he hopes that members of the House of Representatives will listen to the call made by the legislative staffers in electing Representative Koga as the next Deputy Speaker.
Coming out to you from the office of the House of Representatives conference room here, folks.
Number 5, Lima County. I'm pleased to receive this endorsement from you, and I can assure you, people being a staff of this particular honor body, I will also try my best to always relate with my boss man to see how exactly staff welfare can be met. It is true that we are not going to vote, but we can influence the voting. So, on behalf of Honorable Koga, I want to tell you thank you again, even though he is not here, but you'll be very much pleased to receive this endorsement from you people, and I guess very much so you'll be able to live up to the task, having declared his intention to run as Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. So you and your team, I want to tell you very much thank you, that it will be presented and carried out to him.
He is the Chief of Staff in the Office of Representative Samuel Koga Siliki Trawale. They're receiving the endorsement statement from the concerned staffers of the House of Representatives, which was read by its chairman, Oliver Barr. They're endorsing Representative Samuel Koga as Deputy Speaker for the House of Representatives. Let's now bring you this development. The pro-youth advocacy group Youth United for Progress and Action has hailed the over 40 incoming lawmakers of the 55th legislature who have publicly endorsed the candidature of Deputy House Speaker Councillor Fonati Kofa in his bid for the speakership of the House of Representatives for the next 6 years. In a press statement issued Tuesday and signed by its chairman Damo Walker and approved by BOR Chairman Bobby Dixon, Yopa notes that the decision of the over 40 incoming lawmakers of the House of Representatives is a clear indication that they have been following the remarkable legislative works of Deputy Speaker Kofa, a distinct public servant. The youth group says by publicly endorsing Councillor Kofa's candidature for the Speaker position at the House of Representatives of the incoming 55th legislature sends a message that they have listened to the various constituents who have been championing and calling on lawmakers of the 55th legislature to elect one of Liberia's profound jurists and legislators who has not only sought the political interests of his kinsmen in Grenku County, but the entire Liberia. Yuba furthered that Deputy Speaker Kofa, who as a lawmaker has always academically empowered the youth of Grenku County in Liberia unprecedented, and he will be the right leader of the incoming 55th legislature. And finally, the Management Information System Division at the Liberia Revenue Authority has paid tribute and honor two eminent figures within the tax authority for their exceptional contributions and high-quality leadership. The Deputy Commissioner General for Technical Affairs, Gabriel Montgomery, who is the current Acting Commissioner General, and Deputy Commissioner General for Administrative Affairs, Samuel Bennett, received the accolade during the LRA's year-end gathering recognizing their impactful leadership. The event, which was held at the LRA headquarters in Pinsville, witnessed Assistant Commissioner of the Management Information System Division, Collie Zizi, lauding the two senior LRA officials for being instrumental in enhancing the department's efficiency and the professional advancement of long-serving staff members. Assistant Commissioner Zizi highlighted and acknowledged the dedication and commitment exhibited by 18 MRS division staffs who were promoted to various levels based on their outstanding performance and collective efforts in driving revenue growth through the implementation of digitalization strategies. He meanwhile noted that since assuming their roles as Deputy Commissioner Generals in December 2022, Montgomery and Bennett, along with the executive management team, have consistently endeavored to revolutionize the LRA across all spheres. Well, with that development, this is how I would like to wind down the curtain on Thursday, December 21, 2023 edition of Prime News 1. But before leaving you, I'll recap our major stories. Liberia's permanent representative to the United Nations rejects President Weah's claim that Liberia's diplomats at the UN unilaterally voted the country's position on the Israel-Hamas conflict. Ambassador Sarah Fanian calls for immediate review and clarification of such assertions. Liberian clergymen urged sanctioned Mayor Jefferson Koji and defeated Representative Carlos Gray to abandon their planned protests on Inauguration Day. Reverend Jala McKay calls on the city's officials to redirect their energies to the establishment of War and Economic Crimes Court. Information Minister Julius Leger Renin clarifies that Liberia's decision to rescind its vote at the United Nations is in no way retaliation to the alarming U.S. sanctions on corrupt officials, says Liberia is concerned about the escalating humanitarian consequences in the war-torn region. And of the home front, residents of Guinea's capital Conakry are facing rising fuel price after a fatal explosion in the West African nation's main oil depot. And voting in the Democratic Republic of Congo's high-stakes presidential elections has been marred by lengthy delays at polling stations. Well, many thanks to all of our reporters, editors, contributors, including correspondents, for making this edition of Prime News One the source. Thank you for listening and watching Raw. Many thanks to Rufus Divine Brooks, who helped to stream us live on Prime TV. Theophila Davin helped in coordinating this edition of Prime News One. On behalf of the news department of Prime FM, my name is Barclay Conley, our presenter. Good morning.